Hi, and welcome to this Careers Essentials session on succeeding at assessment centres. This is part 1, preparing for the virtual assessment centre. Now, why are we running this session on virtual assessment centres? Well, of course, assessment centres used to be traditionally in a group where you would have met other candidates and undertaken tasks collaboratively. But with the global pandemic and the inability for people to be in close proximity, more and more employers are looking to put these virtually and online. And because of the cost reduction and easier reach for candidates and employers, we will see these long into the future. So we've seen our assessment centres move into groups online where you're doing interaction and working with others in a virtual space. So what happens at a virtual assessment centre? Well, they're assessing the same they always have, but just in a new way. This could be online via a meeting software platform, commonly Zoom or Microsoft Teams, but some employers are investing in bespoke platforms and they will teach you how to use these. You'll still have to do an individual presentation and a group assessment. There'll be interviews and case interviews depending on the sector. You'll still have to undertake some psychometric testing, either before the assessment centre or during, where they might enable you to do this in the platform or send you to an external platform to do this. There'll still be opportunity for networking over lunch times, and you may even find you get a virtual tour of the offices. Of course, your day will still be split quite similarly to when it was in person, though you may find your days are shorter because there's less need to move about or to have certain room bookings. You can expect for a full day to have your technical check-in during the morning and then some warm-up activities before you get into the assessments. You may find that your organisation or employer offers a company presentation, and of course they will put in breaks with lunch and networking. You may even find your employer provides lunch and organises it to be delivered to your house, flat, apartment. Of course, there are still half-day assessment centres. I've put both of these examples during the morning, but of course they could start in the afternoon. You'll always get a technical check-in, so do ensure you take that opportunity to ensure your technology is working, and then you'll undertake a range of different tasks with break. Normally they'll offer you lunch, so it gives you the opportunity to network with others. So here's some examples of how those timetables might work. Of course, there's a number of success factors that we can offer to ensure that you have the highlights of what makes you successful in a virtual assessment centre. It's really important to remember, contrary to what we might think, that actually often you're not in competition with everybody else in the group. Actually, they're more often than not looking to see how you collaborate with others rather than compete with them. So don't forget, everybody in your assessment centre could be offered a role, or just one of you, but you're far better to enter into it thinking that being collaborative is going to be a strength and not a weakness. As with any assessment centre or interview, it's obvious that reading all your documents carefully is important. But when you're in timed conditions, this can be more difficult, but rushing does cause mistakes. So the extra couple of minutes to read all your documentation will pay off in the long run. Don't forget to check your technology. We all know that things can be working one day and not the next. So especially with online platforms where the employer offers you the chance to test it online with them or sends you any links to test your accessibility, don't just join 10 minutes before, do test out the platform. And get comfortable with different features. So if you have the opportunity to just practice on Teams or Zoom, then do use chat functions, any collaborative whiteboard functions, and also putting your hand up. Take any help that's offered by the employers. I've already mentioned they'll offer you a test, they'll offer you an early technical check-in, but it's easy to think that you've used platforms 100 times, so of course they're going to work, but it shows goodwilling with the employer and an opportunity for you to just check everything is working your end, particularly sound. Take a break and have refreshments. Concentration is really key in the virtual space. So You might have a lot of virtual fatigue. They will offer you a tea break and the opportunity to have your lunch. If they offer this to you, don't be afraid to step away from the screen. You won't be missing out on anything, and it will be better for your concentration in the long run. Things do go wrong, so have a backup plan. My advice for this is, if the platform that they're using offers an app, install that on your phone or device so that you can access the platform perhaps away from your larger computer screen. And of course, do ensure the recruiters have your phone number and that you have theirs so that you can contact them should your internet fail, or something as simple as maybe a builder cuts through the cable outside. Some things are just not your fault and they will understand. Going back to basics, it is really important that you understand the role you're applying to and also the application that you have put in. It may be some time since you applied to when you actually undertake the assessment centre, so understanding the role itself can help influence the behaviours during the tasks. And of course, where you can, practice. So you could do this with friends, you can do timed activities alone, but also the Careers Service has virtual online interview platforms, we have case interview practice, and of course you can undertake different training through our Careers Essentials programme, which this presentation is part of, and actually take part in a virtual assessment centre. It is really key for you to test the basics, so I will mention this a few times during the different sections of this video. It's really important that you test your equipment, and the employer will give you the opportunity to do that. It's also important that you test your timing, particularly for recorded interviews, where they may give you perhaps 2 minutes to answer or 2 minutes to give your presentation. Just try and practice speaking for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, just to ensure you get used to staying on time. It's also really important that you check your lighting. As you can see from the example on screen, when you put a group together, you can see in contrast just how different their backgrounds look and how different their lighting is, and even if their camera is not facing the right way. So do a check and ask others their opinion on your background and lighting, and it might be useful for you to check the lighting in different rooms at various times of the day. And headphones can be really valuable. Especially if they're noise cancelling, they can help you to hear better, but also to stop any external noise, particularly if you live in a shared house or on a busy road. When you're undertaking group work, there are some key features you'll need to use during virtual assessment centres. Some of these will probably be quite common to you, such as sharing your screen. You might need to share your screen to offer a presentation and ensuring all the functionality is there for that. You might need to use a whiteboard feature for shared annotations and use a chat box feature too. It's important to get familiar with the hand up feature as well, particularly if you're in a group setting that has discussion. You could organise that you'll have a chair that'll help people to speak sensibly and not over each other. You'll also find that you can upload and download content from chat boxes or from file mechanisms within the platforms. So again, if you need to upload anything, good to ensure that it's readily available to you, but that you've also tried uploading and downloading documents from those shared portal features. In summary, let's go through how you prepare for a virtual assessment centre. Check your technology is working. Find a suitable location in your flat, house, apartment, and also minimise potential issues. So if you know that you live in quite a high traffic area, then simply having noise cancelling headphones, putting a sign on your door, allowing people to know that you're going to be undertaking an important assessment. If it's safe to do so, you may also like to move to another space to undertake your assessment if it's quieter. It's really important, but of course very obvious, that you get the right time and date for your assessment centre. I say this because we all have so many presentations, different interviews and online forums that it can be difficult to remember everything. Although of course your interview is going to be one of the most important things that happens to you this term. It's important if you're applying to an international employer that you do ensure that you have the right time in the UK, or if you're undertaking it abroad and it's for the UK, that you have the right time to enter into the session. Do ensure that you have all of the emails with the links to the session stored safely. An important thing to do when you're trying to receive emails from your employer is to add them to your safe sender list to ensure nothing goes into your junk. As I've mentioned, it's important to test the platform with your devices, and this includes downloading any apps that might help you to access the platform if it doesn't work on your main software connection. Do provide a telephone number to the recruiter and ensure you have their telephone number should you need to get hold of them if your internet fails completely. And of course, check any emails and alerts that come through regularly, particularly on the run-up to the day. Emails are a very important part of joining an assessment centre. They always have been, but of course this time they're going to contain some useful links. So you will always have received preparation emails before an assessment centre. That's not new, but now these emails will have links to live sessions, tests and full joining instructions. So saving them somewhere safe and ensuring they don't get deleted is important. Ensure you add your employer to your safe sender list to ensure their emails don't go into your junk folder. And of course, check your emails regularly. And if you have your junk folder set to delete items after a day or two, perhaps think about changing this in the run-up to any assessment centres. And of course, you can, if you want to, set up an email address specifically for applications and interviews. And you may have chosen to do this before your recruitment period started. So in summary, what are some key next steps? Scope out your space for suitable lighting and quietness. Communicate any concerns to your recruiters, particularly if you're living in shared accommodation or if you live in a family which has children sharing multiple bedrooms and you genuinely find it quite difficult to find a space. Because it's more difficult now to book shared spaces in a city centre or visit a friend's house, they will be understanding, so don't be afraid about sharing any concerns you have about being disturbed. If I've said it once, I'll say it again. Do check your camera and sound. Use the virtual resources available to you via the Careers Service. This is our psychometric testing, our video interviewing, and of course, any practice sessions you can undertake. And practice yourself and with friends. You can do this by using materials online, but also by simply running through any presentations you've prepared and ensuring that they keep to time. Thank you for listening to this first part of our Assessment Centre session. I encourage you to watch the rest of our playlist on succeeding at assessment centres and wish you good luck.